tonight. A more optimistic premier regarding trade talk with the U.S. A call for more social housing units in Regina. And a farm dog that protects more than just his property.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. As federal leaders paint a picture of tough talk when it comes to trade with Trump and the Americans, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is more optimistic, offering his thoughts after returning from the United States.
I'm slightly more positive on where we are today than maybe where we were even a few months ago. The inflationary challenges are hitting American families and businesses just like they are Canadian families and businesses, and we have a good negotiating team down. I was just in Washington.
Moe said his recent trip to Washington, D.C. for the funeral of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham also served as an opportunity to look at the path forward for a new North American trade deal. According to the premier, Graham was a good advocate for Saskatchewan and spoke with the president weekly. Moe also said his relationship with Prime Minister Mark Carney is good, consulting with him ahead of the Washington trip, despite some disagreements when it comes to policy.
He has a very sharp focus and effort when it comes to increasing Canada's credibility in the international trade sphere. We've always been focused on that. We appreciate that. He works and listens with the provinces. We don't always agree. We don't always come to the same point of agreement, but at least we are heard, and that is more than
expressing his condolences on the passing of Saskatchewan Senator Todd Lewis. You can watch the full conversation he had on our morning show at ctvnews.ca/Regina or the CTV News YouTube channel. Several advocates that work with Regina's homeless say the province should be held accountable for demolishing several social housing units and not replacing them. The concerns were raised following an increase in the number of people that have been seen living in tents near the downtown area. Wayne Mantika has more.
A group of concerned citizens gathered on a vacant lot that had been the location of 24 government-owned social housing units.
We demand the government of Saskatchewan stop demolishing social housing units, especially if they're not committed to rebuilding social housing.
Last winter, the same groups met at the location to ask why the units were empty. Days later, demolition began. The government said the complex was considered unsafe after a portion was damaged by fire in 2024. The community groups feel the housing should be rebuilt.
And specifically for this lot, we demand that social housing is returned back to this place, that when we come by and drive by and the people in the community live here, they don't have to stare at empty lots.
The concerns are being expressed as more people without housing move into tents. The latest location is Pepsi Park, where the city cleared away a similar gathering in 2021.
But the reality is that we're spending way more on the cost of people being unhoused than we would be to be spending providing the social housing that's necessary.
In a written statement, the provincial government said it has 2,795 rentable units in Regina, of which 2,453 are occupied. The vast majority of 342 vacant units are available for rent now or within 30 days. The government did not say whether the demolished 24-unit housing complex in Regina will be replaced. Community groups say those units are needed. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Gas prices have dropped across the country and here in Saskatchewan. Some stations in Saskatoon and Regina selling regular gasoline for just under $1.53 per liter. That's down about 20 cents a liter from yesterday. Now, experts say the conflict in the Middle East and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz sent oil and gas prices climbing, but renewed hope that the waterway could reopen is helping to bring oil prices back down. But they did add that the cheaper gas prices are not going to last long. Drivers could be paying 3 or 4 cents more per liter by the weekend. And they are advised to fill their tanks now if possible. Well, you hear stories about wildlife sometimes harming farm animals, but in this case, a rancher's guard dog saved a burrowing owl after it was almost killed by a fox. Sierra D'Souza Butts tells us more about how the endangered bird was saved.
In the evening hours, Wildlife Rescue Society of Saskatchewan received a call from a rancher southeast of the province claiming to find one of Canada's most at-risk owls.
This is a rancher who coexists with all the wildlife on his huge property, and his guardian dog saw a fox running through the yard.
The fox seemed to have something in his mouth, leading the owner's dog to chase the animal.
As soon as the fox dropped what was in its mouth, the dog stopped chasing the fox and laid down beside what was ejected from the fox's mouth, and that made him sort of be alerted to go over and see what it was the fox had caught.
Revealing the catch to be a burrowing owl, the man calling the Rescue Society for help, giving the young owl another chance at life.
I knew right away that this little guy definitely needed the help that only a licensed rehabilitator could provide.
The endangered species can be found in southern parts of the Canadian prairies. Saskatchewan Burrowing Owl Interpretive Centre saying any sightings of the rare bird can make all the difference.
Every sighting that we have that is reported gives us information, which is vital for the researchers and biologists who are tracking population numbers.
Adding educating the public can slowly build up its numbers.
We're always hopeful that we're going to be able to downlist them off the endangered species list, but in reality, it's going to be a tough fight.
As for the young owl saved, he's under the Rescue Society's care at Salt Haven West Wildlife in Regina until it's ready to be sent back into the wild. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Warm, dry weather is speeding up crop development all across Saskatchewan, with some producers already beginning to harvest. Scattered showers brought limited relief this week, with most areas receiving little to no rainfall. Despite the dry conditions, though, topsoil moisture is still rated as adequate across more than half of the province, actually. Crop development is largely on track, with most cereals, oilseeds, and pulses rated as normal for this time of year. Harvest has started in the southwest, while producers are also managing dry weather damage like pests as well as grasshoppers. Drivers are expected to see an increase in farm equipment as well, and to keep caution while traveling. Connor Chan joins us for our first look at weather, and quite a gusty day, more gusty in some areas of the province.
Yeah, it's a fair way to sum it up, Lee. And we saw that yesterday, we saw that today, and we might see more of that tomorrow, but not as crazy as we saw today. Some wind gusts got up to 50 kilometers an hour. Some parts of the day saw numbers beyond that in parts of the province. And as we learned from the crop story, not a lot of moisture as well to add on top of that. But we have seen cooler temperatures, though, as we take a look at the almanac. 20 degrees was our daytime high. 9 degrees was our daytime low. As we take a look at the satellite radar map from the last couple of hours, not a whole lot to talk about, just some cloud cover in the central and north parts, and some cloud coverage making its way into Regina. As we take a look at current temperatures, some areas in the north still a little bit cooler than others down in the south, where some temperatures are still in the 20s down south, but I'll have full details in the full forecast coming up later on. Lee?
All right, thanks, Connor. Yorkton RCMP are asking for the public's help to find an inmate who did not return to the White Spruce Provincial Training Centre after a work shift. Phoenix Shin Goose was last seen on Smith Street East Tuesday between 12:50 and 3:30 p.m. He is around 5'7" tall, 250 pounds, with brown eyes and short black hair. He has multiple face tattoos with the word "rare" under his left eye. If you know where he is or any information on his whereabouts, you're asked to contact RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Up in Saskatoon, city councillors aren't sold on new ways to simplify infill home permits, as new builds are facing added delays before beginning construction. A city committee yesterday voted down an idea that would have owners looking to build a new home sign a letter saying they would follow all drainage requirements. Now, currently, drainage is reviewed with building plans before construction, but the city says these reviews are taking longer and often have to be revised many times. Councillors unanimously opposed passing on responsibility to an inspection 2 years after the home is built.
If we have an issue with our work, with an ability to do the work that we need to do, then I think we have to look at things differently that doesn't take away that work, but rather ensures that it's properly funded.
Councillors tasked administration to look at cost recovery options for inspections moving forward, with the city noting the building permits reserve currently has a healthy balance. The Saskatchewan Cultural Exchange Society is putting on a musical festival this Saturday in Victoria Park. The organization says with the closure last year of the Regina Folk Festival, it has left a bit of a cultural and community gap. So they are launching a new community-driven festival that the Exchange says will be more accessible, more inclusive, and built for long-term sustainability. The one-day event will have multiple acts playing consecutive sets on a main stage in the park.
We've been around for almost 50 years presenting music in this space and other places, and so we thought, we were the ideal organization to try something like this, and we obviously have a vested interest and a passion about local music.
The festival is mainly local musical acts, including Indigo Sons and Indigo Joseph. Cross-country motorcycle journey brought an Ontario man up to Saskatoon as he raises money and awareness for the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. Lorenzo Pellicciana set out at the start of July on a more than 20,000-kilometer journey to reach Canada's furthest points north, south, east, and west. His Miles for Sight campaign is inspired by several of his loved ones who live with vision challenges. That includes his daughter. His goal, $100,000, and he says he's about halfway there.
It's just been amazing, just the people that I've been meeting along the way, and just stopping for gas and stuff, and I'm meeting people that don't have an eye, that are blind, and I sit and talk to them about my journey, and they're so appreciative, right? And they're embracing me, thanking me, putting my poster up. It's just amazing.
He expects that he will complete his journey sometime in early September. Evacuations on the edge of Vancouver as wildfires continue to burn in BC. Plus the latest on a trade front after the Prime Minister and U.S. President exchange verbal jabs. The massive effort to fight wildfires in BC has expanded to Metro Vancouver, where some people spent a sleepless night on evacuation alert. A wake-up call can happen about anywhere in a province desperate for rain, as thousands in the hardest-hit Okanagan region are still not able to return home. Andrew Johnson has the latest.
It's a rare sight on the edge of Metro Vancouver. Water drops on a wildfire that quickly led to evacuations.
It's now just very close to home for us, and this is the reality of the world that we're living in.
People in dozens of homes in Anmore were told they could be next.
We're just waiting for the signal and then get ready to go.
Others got out the hose, hoping to slow flames in the event fire arrived on their doorstep.
We are trying to save our home.
Calm winds overnight helped firefighters keep the fire contained. A scare providing a glimpse of what people are dealing with a few hundred kilometers to the east in the Okanagan, where more than 200 homes have been lost near Vernon.
It's looking like World War III, but hey, we're doing the best we can to get things back to normal and get people back into their homes.
The BC Wildfire Service is reporting progress in controlling the spread of the nearby Bradley Creek fire. Fire crews are also using drones to scan for hot spots in residential areas where structure protection teams are in place 24 hours a day. More help is on the way. 200 firefighters landed today from Mexico, earning an airport welcome from the Premier.
A chance for firefighting crews in the province to catch their breath and be able to recover from what is a very demanding, hot, exhausting, and quite dirty job that they're doing to support British Columbians.
The smoke from wildfires in BC and Washington State is still leading to air quality warnings here in Metro Vancouver. But interestingly, it may be helping fire crews in the Okanagan. The BC Wildfire Service says the thick blanket of heavy smoke is actually helping to block the sun and reduce fire behavior. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Canada's top trade officials were back at the negotiating table in Washington just one day after the leaders of both countries traded barbs. U.S. President Donald Trump even described Canada's leadership as nasty. The clock is ticking to reach a deal, with a new set of harsh U.S. tariffs set to kick in less than 2 weeks. Mike Locatour has more on the status of the trade negotiations.
Canada's minister in charge of Canada-U.S. trade was overtly optimistic heading into his meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Dominic LeBlanc says he's hopeful a deal can be reached before 50% tariffs kick in August 19th. A clear contrast to President Donald Trump's comments Wednesday night.
Canada's nasty. They're nasty.
At an aluminum plant hit hard by American tariffs, Prime Minister Carney had a more measured tone.
C'est une négociation tough.
He called the negotiations tough, conceding one could also use the word nasty. Carney made no apologies for wanting a comprehensive deal that addresses tariffs on the steel, aluminum, auto, and forestry sectors.
Will we get all of that by the 19th of August? We'll see, but we want to have pathways in order to get that.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre says Carney hasn't been tough enough, adding Canada got nothing for removing counter tariffs on the U.S. and for ditching the digital services tax on American tech firms.
We're calling on him to take the leverage that he has not yet squandered, take it to the bargaining table, and get something in return for a change.
There has been a suggestion to leverage our energy and potash exports to the U.S. Well, that move could also impact Canadians. This former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau believes it shouldn't be discounted.
In the sense that we know it would have tremendous impact on the U.S. and be very effective leverage in this relationship right now.
Canada's supply-managed dairy sector has been an irritant to the Americans in these negotiations. Carney defended the decades-old policy, saying it helps consumers and farmers. Hardly a shock, considering he was also campaigning with his candidate for a by-election in Quebec at the end of the month. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Mike touched on this a little bit, but Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre questioning the strategy of trade talks with the U.S. Pierre Poilievre says Mark Carney is making concessions before even getting to the negotiation table.
He backed down on the digital services tax, the Netflix tax. He agreed to Mr. Trump's demands on military spending and counter tariffs. Many of these things were going to have to happen, but why not bring them to the bargaining table and get something in return for them?
Poilievre says that the PM needs to focus on the results that he promised Canadians. Carney recently said Canada's tone towards the U.S. quite firm and insists that trade negotiations with Washington are constructive. All right. Well, hundreds of Calgarians came together last night to mourn and honor 11-year-old Parker Wells. That was the young boy with autism who was found dead after going missing for nearly 2 weeks last month.
With new horizons to pursue.
The vigil was a chance for the city to unite, acknowledging the tragic event and appreciate how people were there to help a family's time in need. Among the speakers were Calgary's mayor, police chief, and advocates of Calgary's autism community who joined first responders and volunteer search groups.
That we all hoped that it would, but that does not change the fact that so many of you showed up when your community needed you.
An entire city and beyond is mourning a little boy who most of us never met but fell in love with. And it is my most sincere hope that you are feeling the entire city and beyond wrapping around you in a blanket of that love.
A special thank you to one of the searchers, Ashley, who found one of his shoes and alerted CPS. Again, we want to thank the Calgary Fire Department. You guys risked your lives to locate her son.
His story has done so much. It has raised awareness about how complex autism is. It really is a spectrum. And it's going to bring about change in the system where there might have been weaknesses. I mean, to leave behind that kind of impact is amazing.
So that last part was, you heard an emotional audio message from Parker's parents thanking the city for its support. The 11-year-old went missing back on July 16th, sparking a desperate search that sadly came to an end 1 week ago. In Washington, a Senate committee voted today to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress and refer him to the Justice Department for potential prosecution.
Dr. Fauci faced no risk of federal prosecution. All he had to do was tell the truth. More than 100 times, though, he refused. The chair ruled that Dr. Fauci's assertion of the Fifth Amendment privilege was unsupported in light of the pardon and the testimony he offered in his opening statement.
The vote focused on Fauci's refusal to answer questions at a hearing last week on his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. He invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination more than 100 times. Fauci's lawyer called this morning's vote partisan and accused Senator Rand Paul of abusing his power to try to weaponize the Justice Department. And as Europe grapples with blistering temperatures, Italy has put all its major cities on the highest heat alert. People in Rome are doing everything they can to stay cool. The red alert issued by the country's health ministry covers 27 cities, stretching from Palmero in the south to Balanzo in the north. The warning says the prolonged high temperatures pose a serious health risk to the entire population. It was more than 40 degrees today in several areas in the north. Meanwhile, Austria set a national temperature record, and Hungary has switched off the lights at state institutions to save energy. Still ahead, hats off to the Edmonton Elks and Stingers, who came to the rescue of a 9-year-old boy who lost his cap.
The Western Canadian Baseball League playoffs begin this weekend. Friday on Your Morning, we're finding out what has the defending champion Regina Red Sox so confident despite a sub-500 regular season.
All right, welcome back. Time to take a look now at your full forecast as we look through the sky cam at Mosaic Stadium right now. A little bit of cloud coverage further down as, of course, the sun is starting to set within the next couple of hours or so. Taking a look right now, 18 degrees, so it is getting a little bit cooler, even though we were just only 2 degrees cooler than our daytime high today. So not a very particularly warm day in the province, or at least for us here in Regina, excuse me. 35-kilometer-an-hour gusts right now with winds coming in from the northwest there. That's been a topic of conversation for the last couple of days. It's indicated by the chart here with current wind gusts in areas. So 43, we also see that number in Moose Jaw. We see that 44 in North Battleford, 46 kilometer-an-hour winds in Prince Albert, 54 La Ronge, and then we see some 44s down southeast in Weyburn and Estevan, and then we also see 43 kilometer-an-hour wind gusts in Swift Current as well. Now, as we take a look to the satellite radar map in terms of precipitation, not a whole lot. We did see maybe some scattered showers in the central and northern parts earlier this morning, but for parts of the south, it's been pretty clear for the most part. We did see a little bits of cloud cover. Now, as we take a look to the weather tracker, as we look ahead to the next couple of days or so, by 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, we'll still see some clear skies there. We'll see some cloud cover, more so in the further north, but we will see a little bit more coming in throughout the day. By the time the Rider game kicks off, very faint cloud cover there. The bulk of it is, like I said, going to be more so north. As we skip ahead to around Saturday morning, could see some rain and pockets of some showers in the Swift Current area, Assiniboia area as well, and a bit more cloud cover coming into the mix. And then by the time we get into Saturday, things will start to clear up for lots of southern Saskatchewan. And then as we get into the bulk here, or at least around the 4 a.m. slot, we'll see a good heavy amount of rain expected for the Swift Current, Maple Creek areas, and that could also move its way into other parts of Saskatchewan, as indicated by the system, kind of more so central or Saskatoon and Regina is also going to see some light rain for the most part as we get into the rest of the weekend here. And then, of course, we'll see that rain shift its way over by the time we get into that 7:30 a.m. mark on Sunday. So here's a look at some temperatures overnight. Like we saw earlier, lots of single digits overnight tonight. We will take a look at the daytime highs for tomorrow. La Loche, 18 degrees, 19 for La Ronge tomorrow, 21 in Prince Albert, and then 21 for Lloydminster, looking at North Battleford, and Saskatoon, Yorkton, all with 22-degree daytime highs tomorrow. Pretty consistent in those areas there. As we look ahead to Maple Creek, we'll see a high of 28 degrees tomorrow, so fairly cold night at 6 degrees overnight, and then, of course, we'll see that 28-degree high. 26 tomorrow for Swift Current, 24 for Moose Jaw, moving over to the Weyburn, Estevan areas, 24 tomorrow for Weyburn, with 23 also in Estevan, and then Assiniboia sitting at 25 degrees, all with clear skies in the mix there. Now, looking ahead overnight, Regina Regina. We will see 9 degrees overnight, and tomorrow we should get a high of daytime high, of 23 degrees. And we did see those wind gusts, and they're still going to kind of be pretty mild and moderate for tomorrow. We could get as high as 30 kilometers an hour coming in from the west, and that will go into Saturday as well. We could see little bits of cloud coverage, like I said, for Friday, but then we'll see a little bit more coming in on the weekend here. So as we look at the next 7 days, pretty consistent numbers when it comes to our daytime highs as well as our daytime lows, still kind of in those low teens. So Saturday, 24 degrees, 23 on Sunday, 25 will be the warmest day we expect here for Monday with that high there, and then 23 for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we wrap things up on Thursday with a high of 21 degrees. So not as blustery today, not as blustery tomorrow as it was today, Lee. So like you said yesterday, golfers, it may have been a rough day today, but tomorrow might be a little better. I mean, if if anyone's still out there enjoying the weather and the courses as well.
Well, hopefully the wind isn't too much of an issue. Riders, of course, playing tomorrow against the Red Blacks, and the kicker's been a little off, so hopefully the winds aren't too strong. Thanks, Connor. Well, it may have been the Riders beating the Elks last weekend, but Edmonton's CFL team did win the heart of one young fan. Noah Rashog tells us how they helped out a 9-year-old boy who lost a special hat during the game.
The Edmonton Elks and Saskatchewan Roughriders were going toe-to-toe on Saturday evening when they were interrupted by the weather.
For your own safety and comfort, we need you to proceed to the concourse.
Mark Olrun-Tegbe was in the stands when he and his family moved to shelter in the concourse. He left his hat behind. While they were able to return to their seats a little while later, the hat was nowhere to be found.
It was the end of the second period, and then there was a lightning delay. So then I went back into the concourse, and then I came back and it wasn't there.
The hat was an Edmonton Stingers hat. Mark had saved up his money from his paper route to buy it himself.
He had come to the game, so he already got his pay for July. For June, he would get his pay for July and August, and it was like, could you loan me my pay for July so I could buy the hat? So I actually bought the hat and the shirt.
It's basically like throwing a bunch of money into a sewer.
The pair posted to social media about what had happened, and before the game was even over, Edmonton Elks staff had found him to try and make up for his loss.
It was just a quick screenshot I grabbed and sent to my team and said, when we get back to the game, somebody go see this boy and bring him football, bring him a t-shirt, and just do what we can to make his game day a little bit better.
After gaining traction, the Post found the Edmonton Stingers, who replaced the hat and invited them to their last regular season game.
Luck would have it was our fan appreciation night, so all 12 of our players were out signing autographs after the game. So, the young fan was able to make sure that they got everything that they needed replaced from what they lost at Commonwealth.
The Stingers say they were happy to help, while also guaranteeing a new fan for life. Noah Rashog, CTV News, Edmonton.
Still ahead, he just got to Riderville, and Derek Roberson is already making an impact chasing down quarterbacks.
Here's what's happening in our community. Volunteers are needed for the Legion National U16 and U18 Championships happening on August 7th to 11th at the Canada Games Athletic Complex. For all the information, you can call 306-860-8504. The Canadian Junior Boys Golf Championship will be happening August 10th to the 14th at the Wascana Country Club. For all the details, email lynn.tulloch@sastel.net. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Well, the Riders will be without 2 of their top 3 receivers long-term. Both Kean Schaefer-Baker and Samuel Emilus have been placed on the 6-game injured list, as has DB Tavon Campbell. The Riders now have 13 players on that 6-game injured list. Meanwhile, after Alex Hale missed another 40-plus yard field goal attempt in Edmonton, giving him about a 20% success rate from that distance. The Riders have decided to bring in some competition. Dawson Hodge signed the practice roster. The former Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawk did spend training camp with the Stamps, Argos, and was actually with the Riders for a bit last season. His career long in university was 49 yards. Now, Hale does remain in the lineup this week against the Ottawa Red Blacks. Perhaps one last opportunity to prove that he can be reliable.
It'll engage some competition and then, give us some options to look forward if it comes down to that. But that being said, Alex is our guy going out there this week. And I'm hoping, just like he is, that he's going to nail everything. And that's, again, the expectation. We've seen him do it. So, we were in a similar situation last year. And, you end up seeing how we end up rolling that out. So, yeah, man, I got faith in Alex.
Once again, Saskatchewan will host Ottawa tomorrow night. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. at Mosaic Stadium. Now, despite joining the team less than 3 weeks ago, another new rider, Derek Roberson, is making an early impact in green and white. Donovan Mace has more on the former NFLer giving quarterbacks another defensive end to worry about.
Both of them. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are already one of the best pass rushing defenses in the CFL. But its stock is going up with the addition of defensive end Derek Roberson.
Up here, the game moves a lot more faster than it does down south.
Roberson wasting no time, making an impact in green and white.
Has been in camp for a couple of weeks. He's got NFL experience.
Notching his first CFL sack in his first CFL game Saturday against Edmonton.
I'm just trying to put some more game tape out there and stay in shape and really just not just sit on the couch while everybody else at camp.
But the tackle of Cody Fajardo, not the first time he's taken down a pro QB. Disaster! Roberson. The Sam Houston State product, spending 3 seasons in the NFL with the Titans. His first professional sack.
As Breeze is hit and taken down.
Hall of Famer Drew Brees.
Rodgers under late pressure will tuck this one. Oh, my goodness.
And for the past 3 years, he's been wreaking havoc in the UFL.
It took me about a couple of days to get off the ball. I mean, really just losing in one-on-ones, pass reps. So I was like, I can't do that, so I need to get better on my pass rush, especially that get off the ball. But at first, it was a little bit tricky.
The Riders' defense ranked 3rd in the CFL, 2nd in sacks, and Roberson only adding to a potent pass rush.
He figured out kind of like, okay, special teams, the speed of the game is a little bit different. Kind of got his wind underneath him, and then, was able to cut loose. He's still learning the system, but certainly a guy that I think can help us down, towards the rest of the season.
Once you learn the rules and like the yard of the ball, just get rolling. But like I've been rolling ever since that first week, so I'm back in motion now.
Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
It's quite the hit. Well, the playoffs are set in the WCBL. The Moose Jaw Miller Express finished first in the East Division. They will play 4th place Medicine Hat, while 2nd place Saskatoon will face 3rd place Regina in a rematch of last year's division final. Now, White City's Brady Bai set a Regina Red Sox franchise record this season. He posted 67 RBI and 13 home runs. In Moose Jaw, Thomas Soto smashed the league's stolen base record. The old mark was 42. Soto crushed it, swiped 49 bags this year. In Swift Current's Jake Hiramoto smashed 22 home runs, breaking the old record of 20. Playoffs, they get underway tomorrow. And Canada's off to the semifinals of the Under-18 Helenka Gretzky Cup with Saskatchewan Stars leading the way.
Canada back the other way, chance for a 2-on-1 here. In comes Liam Pugh. Pugh with a shot, scores!
Regina Pats forward Liam Pugh with a goal and assist. Teammate and Regina product Maddox Schultz with 3 points, leading the way for Canada. Despite being the youngest 2 players on the team, they played well. Lanigan's Caden Strader has also played well, a goal and assist as Canada beats Sweden by a score of 7-4. They will play Finland on Friday in the semifinals, 5 o'clock on TSN. Still ahead, Environment Canada is set to use a more precise severe weather alert system.
All right, welcome back. Time to take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. As we talked about lots throughout the show today when it comes to the temperatures. Low 20s in some areas, like Melfort, Hudson Bay, Wynyard sitting at 21 degrees. Kindersley and Outlook a little bit warmer at 24 degrees. And then Spiritwood, Meadow Lake sitting at 20 degrees for tomorrow. As we shift a little bit down south, it is going to be a little bit warmer, especially in areas like East End, Cypress at 27, Maple Creek at 28, Cornack at 27, with as well as Rockland sitting at 26, and then a little bit cooler as we move eastbound into Kenora at 21, along with Broadview, and then Carlisle sitting at 22 degrees. Now, as we take a look now to Pearceland, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel, and also a little bit of a cooler day just outside the 20-degree mark with that high of 19 degrees, and mainly sunny skies with a few clouds rolling in. The wind's also going to be a little bit prominent there tomorrow, as well as we'll see winds coming in from the west at 20 to 30 kilometers an hour, as just to conclude off what's been a very blustery week here in Saskatchewan.
Arguments were made in a Saskatoon courtroom today about how a teen should be sentenced for causing a fiery crash that left a man in his 80s seriously injured. Stacey Hine on what could be next for the youth.
This was the scene on Idlewild Drive May 5th. The crash sending 82-year-old Doug Bremner to hospital in critical condition. Court heard he sustained second and third degree burns, broke multiple bones, and had to be airlifted to Edmonton, where he remains in hospital. The 14-year-old who was driving the vehicle that slammed into Bremner's vehicle can't be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. He has pleaded guilty to dangerous driving causing bodily harm, possession of stolen property over $5,000, and failing to stop while being pursued by an officer. Court heard the teen stole an SUV from a Prince Albert woman in the early morning hours of May 5th. He was later seen speeding and pursued by Corman Park Police, and eventually he lost control of the vehicle. During the boy's sentencing hearing, court heard victim impact statements from Bremner and his loved ones. They said that before the crash, Bremner was the primary caregiver for his wife, who has cancer and has since stopped treatment so she can remain by his side during recovery. The Crown is seeking a 15-month sentence followed by 12 months of probation. The defense is seeking no time in custody and 2 years probation. Judge Lisa Watson has reserved her decision on sentencing. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Yorkton City Council will be moving to the Gallagher Centre next week. The mayor says it's due to renovations in council chambers. So instead, the August 10th meeting will happen on the second floor of the Gallagher Centre, starting at the usual 5 p.m. time. The meeting will not be broadcast on Access, but will be live streamed at yorkton.ca. This summer, there have been plenty of tornado warnings on cell phones across Saskatchewan, but that doesn't mean one is in your path. The warning area, in fact, is so big, sometimes the storm that's producing a twister won't even come near your community. As John Hendricks tells us, this is about to change as Environment Canada is updating its warning system.
When tornadoes were spotted in southern Manitoba back in early June, Adriana Moreno got a number of warnings on her phone.
I remember that my phone was beeping all the time.
Which would have been great had she been close to the area where the tornadoes were, but she wasn't.
Maybe they didn't need that warning.
In the future, people like Moreno may get fewer of those false alarm warnings. Environment Canada is modernizing its alert system to provide more precise severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings by utilizing a polygon warning system. In a statement, a spokesperson writes, forecasters outlined the area most likely to be affected by a severe thunderstorm or tornado and send a warning only to people in that area. These alert areas are also known as free-form polygons.
The United States have been using the system, this type of an approach for warnings for many years.
John Hanasak is an atmospheric science professor at the University of Manitoba. He says the polygon warning system is much more targeted to the areas where the storm is actually heading.
So people that are within, say, a half an hour or an hour of the storm, depending on how fast it's traveling, they would actually have the warnings go out just for that localized area as opposed to a whole bunch of people getting the warning.
And that will mean fewer false alarms for people like Adriana Moreno.
It's going to be a good thing.
The new system is expected to go online Tuesday, August 14th. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
your farm market boards, canola street price up by a dime to $716.95 per ton. Futures price up $2.90 to $768.90 per ton. Amber durum wheat, $272.48 per ton, while red spring wheat dropped another $3.20 to $284.60 per ton. Feed barley, $203.59 per ton. And how about that flax? It's at $630.54 per ton. Prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. The stock markets, TSX down 10 points, so slightly, while the Dow Jones dropped by 464 points. The Canadian dollar, it went up more than 0.3% to 71.35 cents US. On a commodity front, gold down $3.31. West Texas Intermediate crude went up by $2.07, while Western Canadian Select crude dropped by 36 cents. And gas in Regina, it did drop. We've seen lower prices, but most places selling it for $1.67.9 per liter, but it's not going to stay there long, so gas up.
Tim says its FIFA-inspired Timbits just didn't score with customers. The themed Timbits, like Canadian fireworks, fell flat. That forced Tim's to focus on melts and cold drinks to keep sales steady. Restaurant Brands International is the parent company. It also owns Burger King, which has been rebranded and is doing well in the U.S. and international markets. RBI's revenue for the quarter was just over $2.5 billion U.S. Canadian Natural Resources reported net earnings for its latest quarter of $4.5 billion. That's $3 billion more than the same quarter last year. Like many other Canadian oil companies, it is benefiting from the Middle East conflict that has sent the price of oil higher. Canada's top oil and gas producer is also raising its production target for the year. There were fewer sales of Toronto homes in July. They dropped about 1% year over year. Semi-detached sales were down almost 6%. Townhouse sales were down almost 3%. There was also a 12% drop in overall inventory. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, a couple of big bangs and a couple of children ruin everything. That's a great combination. Traders Canada, 9 o'clock, and Big Bang Theory again to sandwich things up at 10 o'clock, E-Talk, and your national and local news at 11:30. Okay, so it's not uncommon to spot coyotes in even Toronto, but one woman had a close and completely unexpected encounter with one in her own house.
My cleaner went upstairs to start on the job, and she pretty nonchalantly called down to me that there was a fox in my bedroom. I thought maybe she was referring to a stuffed animal or something, so I went up to check it out, and no, it was a coyote. There was a coyote on my bed.
After a bout of mild panic, the family shut the bedroom door and called the police. The baby coyote stayed in the room for more than an hour, defecating and bleeding from mange. The finally wildlife volunteers who were in the area safely rescued the pup. That's a nice little way. At least they got him out safely.
Hopefully she cleaned the room afterwards.
It was a crime scene type deal.
It looked like a crime scene, probably.
Some firefighters in Colorado jumped into action for a water rescue using a very unexpected mode of transportation.
Check out the unique vehicle choice of a team of rescuers that needed to brave some waves to get to a turtle tangled in a fishing line. Members of the Lafayette...
Why wouldn't you? Unclear why they chose the flamingo pedal boat to save a turtle that was caught in a fishing line, but it sure has attracted a lot of attention. Officials say 2 firefighters and an animal control officer borrowed the boat from a rental boathouse nearby, and I'm guessing this is probably the only thing they had left.
Yeah, that sounds about that. That's the only logic. But I mean, maybe it was kind of matching the speed of the turtle. Unless they go a little faster in water.
Yeah, I guess they're not really rushing things. So, you know what? For that flamingo pedal boat, that would be a great gift for our producer Brenna on her birthday today.
It would be.
Get it done, family.